Good day, America. From Houston, Texas, I'm Colonel Roy Morales, exposing the truth from City Hall to the state capitol to the White House. On today's program, an update on the latest Republican presidential debate held in Las Vegas, Nevada. The second highest rated debate of the 8 held so far. The Nielsen ratings were over 5.5 million viewers. Of course, most of the blogs and websites failed to report on Congressman Ron Paul, even though he had the most applause in over 12 minutes of the debate. Also today, we are fortunate to have another candidate for the City of Houston elections. This time, mayoral candidate Jack O'Connor. So don't touch that remote. We'll be right back. Welcome back to We the People. Yesterday, at the Western Republican Conference, Texas Governor Rick Perry announced he will be coming out with his flat tax plan, a tax plan probably similar to former presidential candidate Steve Forbes' plan. It appears the governor is trying to capture the debate from Herman Cain's 999 plan. This is the same governor that pushed for a business tax in Texas and now wants a flat tax for America. I have an answer for both Governor Perry and the former Federal Reserve Board member Cain. How about no income tax? This was Ron Paul's answer the other night in Vegas. Here, watch this clip.
I'm Congressman Ron Paul from Texas. I'm the champion of liberty. I am the only one that has offered a balanced budget in a sincere method. And also, I present the case for a free society as being the best defense for peace and prosperity.
Congressman Paul, you called his plan dangerous today.
Oh, it is, because it raises revenues, and the worst part about it is it's regressive. A lot of people aren't paying any taxes, and I like that. I don't think that we should even things up by raising taxes. So it is a regressive tax, so it's very, very dangerous in that thing, and it will raise more revenues. But the gentleman asked the question, he didn't even ask what we're talking about. He asked the question, what are you going to replace the income tax with? And I say nothing. That's what we should replace it with. But I do want to make a point that spending is a tax. As soon as the government spends money, eventually it's a tax. Sometimes we put a direct tax on the people, sometimes we borrow the money, and sometimes we print the money. And then when prices go up, like today, the wholesale price index went up 7% rate. And if you look at the free market, the prices are going up 9 and 10%. So that is the tax. So spending is the tax. That is the reason I offered the program to cut $1 trillion out of the first year budget that I offered.
Now, in 1913, the personal income tax was passed. Before then, our nation raised money through tariffs and corporate taxes, not the American people. America was strong. Yes, the rich got richer, but also the rest of America prospered. And our government was prosperous as well. 16 years after that introduction of the personal income tax law, we ended up with this, the Great Depression. Taxing income is wrong, wrong, wrong. Your hard-earned income is going to the Federal Reserve in other countries. Ron, you have it right. America, wake up. Next is mayoral candidate Jack O'Connor. So don't touch that remote. We'll be right back. Welcome back to We the People. I'm Roy Morales. Today, we're fortunate to have mayoral candidate Jack O'Connor. Jack, thank you for being here today.
Yeah, certainly enjoy being here.
Well, I'm
Roy.
sure you've been on a few talk shows, maybe a few debates already on TV.
I have, and yeah, a couple of forums, and interesting. And I know that you had run for mayor, and I'm just saying that you inspired me to do this.
Well,
Okay.
you inspired me to run for
Okay.
Congressional District 29,
did. Yep.
didn't you?
Yep, I did. And it all for the better.
Yeah,
So,
I think we got more voters' attention
yeah.
during that race. But since you've been doing this for a while now, I'm going to give you an opportunity to tell the audience your website.
Well, my website is jackforhouston.com, and I also have a blog on my website, and my website blog is very interesting, so you ought to go for it just
Well,
for
I
that
started
reason.
looking at it the other night.
Yeah,
It
okay,
is. It
yeah,
is.
good.
It's a little bit different. It's you got to keep up with technology, and it's different than what it was 2 years ago and even a year ago. So, I applaud you for keeping up with technology.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to do those things to win this race, and I think you're getting there.
Yeah, and it's good to be able to bring up issues that are really, you can bring up issues in a concrete way and actually get some response on them. So it's fun.
Well,
yeah, it's good.
You ran for state rep.
Yes.
You almost won that.
Yeah, I did.
I was out there saying, "Go Jack, go Jack, go Jack," and it was late in the evening, I think.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we didn't know until the morning. The people went to bed thinking I won and are still congratulating me in the grocery store. So, yeah, and now I've got to win the mayor's race just so I don't disappoint them. So.
Well, I understand.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of running, one of the most important questions always asked of a candidate is why are you running?
Yeah. Well, why I'm running is in the last year, I was becoming more and more concerned about the budget, more and more concerned about the pension, and more concerned as other municipalities and cities and counties around the country have fallen into the trap of being insolvent. They've got insolvent, they can't pay their bills, and their finances are taken over by the state. And I don't want that to happen to this city. And one of the key symptoms of this is that the city has to borrow from its union pensions to balance the budget. So that's why I'm running. I'm running because, one, we have a commitment for our pension plans and we can't borrow from them. But number two, we have raised taxes, we have a drainage tax, we've raised the water rates, and we've done so many things to hurt businesses and residents that, and it happened all at one time, and I think the mayor is insensitive about this. It has hurt our business development, and it's actually hurt many seniors as well as just regular people working, that all of a sudden $500–600 more a month is coming out of their paycheck to pay their bills, to pay their water bill and to pay their drainage tax. I think that's serious reason. The other thing is that I'm running for is I'm an advocate, and I will use the mayor's office as a bully pulpit to get jobs that exist over in Asia and outside the U.S., bring them back here wherever we can. And it's not necessarily creating jobs, it's bringing jobs back here and getting the major companies here buying from local suppliers again, buying from places where we have value added, where we have material and labor. And I feel very strongly about that. So,
well, I'm glad you brought that up. Earlier in our program today, I spoke exactly about that, except at the federal level, how a lot of these protests that are going on right now are against the Federal Reserve, which is really hindering productivity. Manufacturing has disappeared. I'm talking about going back before 1913 and going after our tariffs, especially with the country of China. I think we paid off the Federal Reserve if we can have tariffs on China, but we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah, okay.
I believe it's time we're going to take a break here, so don't touch that remote. This is We the People. I'm Roy Morales. Welcome back to We the People. I'm Roy Morales, and I'm here today with mayoral candidate Jack O'Connor. We've just been discussing a little bit about bringing jobs back to Houston, but why don't we hear about your overall platform for the city of Houston, Jack?
Well, first of all, we have serious budget issues, and I think we all know that. And I think we hear it, we have not heard it enough because the current city government, the mayor, has been sugarcoating really where we are. But the thing about the budget is that we can save money, we can save a great deal of money with synergies with the county. We also can look at some of the things that the mayor's office has done is that the controversy of the red light cameras and the Proposition 1 in the springtime, in the session since the first of the year, what has happened is it's taken so much energy away, taken so much attention away from doing the budget right, and the city laid off a lot of people. She has laid off 1,500 people since that has happened. But they did it this time, 750 this time, and they did it in haste because they were arguing about so many other things and it was not managed right. My platform entails bringing back a good management and leadership to the mayor's office. And that means get through things quickly, don't politicize things, get things done that are good for the city and get on with it. The budget is a very important thing, and it almost came secondary to all the political hoopla that went around the red light cameras in Proposition 1. That's the one thing. But I intend to look at the enterprise funds, such as the airport, and look at those where they are top-heavy to reduce the amount of redundancy in the executive positions at the airport. And there are some. And we have let go many Indians and not enough chiefs.
Well, Jack, first off, the enterprise fund is not the city's operational budget. That is funds that come from other sources like airport fees. You could cut off the top level, but it's self-sustaining. The problem that I would have is taking money from that enterprise funds to go pay the operational costs of the city of Houston, which the city has done in the past.
Right.
But the enterprise fund, and I was going to talk to you about that, about zero-based budgeting within the enterprise fund.
Yeah.
Water, airport are the two big ones there.
Yeah.
The problems that everybody tends to have is when you take from those funds to pay for other costs because you're not doing your jobs right in public works or in police or in other areas.
Yeah, that's a good point. But you say the enterprise funds they're protected, and they are not necessarily protected because we had the water and sewage, and we had the water and sewage. The money of that went to places that we did not know
Exactly.
about. Okay.
Exactly.
The other thing is that we're not sure exactly where the infrastructure fund's going to come from now from the drainage tax. So all I'm saying is that we have to save money everywhere. And the enterprise funds, the water and sewage, and actually then you have the streets and drainage part of it, those two funds, we have to make sure that anything is in them is spent on that. And I agree with that.
Yeah. Well, you know, 2 years ago, one of the things that we did find was that the city couldn't account for 1 million gallons of water. And when they were calculating how much money they should be bringing in. No one could find the 1 million gallons of water. And we had people, and I think maybe near where you live, they said, our water's been running this whole time and nobody's billed us. And those were problems that we have out there, and that's what we need to go back and look within those enterprises.
I can assure you it wasn't at my house that they didn't bill us because we've been paying. As a matter of fact, what I did is I paid May, June, and July. I built a house about 21 years ago. I planted a lot of trees, and it keeps me off the street and out of the pool holes, I guess, taking care of my yard. But my yard, I've kept it going, and I had bills of $500 each month for May, June, and July, okay? And at the same time, I got a fairly high notice that I would be charged for a fee. That is at a point where it was over the top, that this was happening to me. It was happening to a lot of other regular people, especially happening to senior citizens, where they're hit with this all of a sudden at a time, and it's put people on the brink. There are a lot of people in financial stress right now, and if they pay their bills, they're not going to be able to pay their bills.
Well, we're going to cover more about jobs, the economy, and a
okay.
little bit about public safety as well.
Okay.
Don't touch that remote. We'll be right back.